Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Today we have a special guest, Eric, again. By the way, you were actually requested. You have some fans on my channel, low key, because they were like, you should totally do another video with your gay bestie.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so flattered. Thanks for having Baby Elephant back on the channel. I love it.
Don't trigger me with that song right now. Anyways, so should we explain our names or should we just let them hang in the moment?
Let's give a little explanation because I don't know how they would try to figure out Baby Elephant or where they would go with that. So we'll get into it. I'll explain why I'm BE, Baby Elephant. So I am Baby Elephant because I'm fat. No, I'm Baby Elephant because your boy likes to tan a lot and anything for the dark skin. And basically, to give a little teaser, I tan to the point of getting swollen and all from the neck down. Thankfully, I didn't tan my face because I was like, oh, I don't want to ruin my face. I get laser, blah, blah, blah. So I did all the neck down. So everywhere from the neck down, I was swollen. I was huge. I was like Hillary Duff puffs up. It was crazy. It was just not it. And that's why I am Baby Elephant, because I was literally as big as a baby elephant with my already wide, big set self. So
Craziness, which we will get to that in the story. So
yeah.
my name, Eric just told me to pick something fun, and I was tripping tonight over something I'm not gonna get into because we don't get into anything ever. And I'm just kidding. No, but I was having a moment, a dramatic episode tonight. I was being drama
Oof.
because I'm struggling. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am serotonin-y to the max. I have rosy cheeks, really bad. But yeah, so I'm having a hormonal moment tonight, which is great. So Eric said, well, then you're Lana Bottom, which means that I'm just sub bottom energy and very like Lana Del Rey. Okay. So anyway,
Pretty much.
We're gonna continue. So go ahead and let's set the theme. So
Okay, so let's get into it. Or if anybody knows that blonde from the meme, get into it. But anyways, so basically I went to Thailand mid-January to early February, and was very fun. It was very fun. I enjoyed the trip, even though the build up to it was not pleasant. And because it just got in the way of a lot of the things I wanted to do or was on my way to do, but that's beside the point. So basically, I was out there 2 weeks in Thailand. The first week, I was my normal self, my normal gym self, work out, do the weights, have a little muscle, whatever. And for the most part, everybody in Thailand, they're they're smaller framed, they're scrawnier, and just more on the petite size, I guess. They're just smaller. And I'm over here like a linebacker, get out of my way. And so basically, though, the first week it was normal. It was regular. We did the touristy stuff of going to temples, exploring the beach, or just going swimming in the pools, just seeing the city, Bangkok, whatever. Saw a ping pong show. But
interesting. Well, I want to ask you too, did you have any inclination that something like that could happen, that you could be fat shamed on this trip?
No, honestly, no, because I know I'm bigger set, but I know it's not fat. I know I'm not fat. I'm just I lift weights, so I got some the good boobies, and it's maybe you can call me thick, I guess thick fit, but not fat. So it's no, I never thought or would imagine that I'd get fat shamed in Thailand, even by the little Thai people. I never.
Were you worried about anybody who went with you?
Ooh. Yes, actually, yes, because I went with 3 other friends. Okay, 2 of them are pretty skinny, pretty thin, like average, and then one is a luscious, curvaceous, fat Asian. So, yes, Esme is definitely a hefty set girl, and she is also kind of built like a linebacker, so it looks really bad because
Oh
she
my God.
well, it's unfortunate because it's like she gained weight, but she looks like a football player. Like she lost all her curves, all her shape. Like it's just kind of like a solid block. And it's like, ooh, that's unfortunate. And
Were you concerned at all that she was gonna have some issues out there?
yes. Yes.
Okay. That was my question.
Yeah, because she's Korean and like the culture and stuff in Asia is very intense as far as it comes to like fatness. So I was just like, oof, like it's not gonna be cute for her, you know? And I guess it wasn't for me, to week too, but we'll get into that. So I didn't know guys could have it like that too out there. Um but yeah, so basically, like I said, week 1 was fun, and since you brought up my wonderful friend Esme,
I
um
just I felt like it needed to be there. It's a thing, you guys. It happened.
it is, and it did because basically the first day we're there when we landed, it was kind of funny to me because like here in the States it's like, oh, you can't say that, or like, oh, that's shocking, or like, oh yeah, that's just rude, like you're doing it on purpose. But no, the guy was not being rude, he was just using that like as an adjective to describe her, like that because he didn't know my friend at all, because we're at the airport, we land, and for some reason we needed our passport for the ATM to get money, um whatever. And he was like, oh, can you like use one of your, he was like, can I borrow one of your passports to get money? And I was like, no. No, not at all.
Ooh.
Right, I was like, no. And then like he saw that I was like, huh, like looking around, and he's just like, oh, like were you looking for like your, like were you looking for a friend, was a friend here? And I was like, yeah, it was 2 girls, blah blah. And he's like, oh, the fat one. Like, oh, like it kind of like caught me off guard because again, I'm not
And
used.
you're like, "Yep, that was your first thought. I know it."
Well, it caught me off guard. Like you just said that, but then I was like, yeah, the fat one. And then, oh, she went over there, and I was just like, oh. And then of course I walk over there, and it was my friend, the fat one.
Okay, I have to ask you too for some tea.
Okay.
Were there other fat people there, like when you guys were touring and stuff? And what fat ratio was there?
I didn't really notice fat people when we got to like the city itself. I noticed more fat people once we got to like the island parts, like the party parts. But that's
Okay.
such a mix of like so many foreigners. Like the people themselves there, mm, maybe a few, but it's very like far in between. Whereas like some of the tourists, like yeah, they were like fat, like, but that's because they're tourists. They're not the people up there. But as far as the people from there, not really. Fatness wasn't so much
Mhm.
like, it's not like, they don't exist, but it's just kind of like rare to see one where it's like, oh, like wow, like a fat Thailandian. I don't know what you call them, like whatever the term,
Right.
like.
Right.
And but also it was interesting because even with the foreigners, like a lot of there was chunksters, there were so many fit guys, and I was like, ooh, now I feel fat because fit guys, like the chest and the abs, and I was like, dang, I was like, what the heck, like, okay, let this motivate me. But
You're used to being American fit, not international fit, I guess.
yeah, I was like, oh, I'm feeling myself, and then like I see them, and I was like, anyways, like retracting in my shell. But
It's
yeah.
crazy. I was thinking about that today because I'm just barely now entering into a small fat category. I would say at this moment, I'm dead in between the
Mhm.
two. And so basically, I'm morbidly obese. So I'm almost dead center of morbid obesity. Like I'm not even halfway through it yet. but I'm becoming a small fat. And to me, that shows like how wild a small fat in America is morbidly obese.
It is really crazy to think about because, again, like, you know, in America, like what I'm used to seeing, what we're used to seeing, and then, yeah, I go to international and I was like, whoa, like, whoa, my gosh, I'm that one here, you know, like, dang.
Because I'm like, yeah, because I think a lot of the fat activist types, they're all about like how fat shaming America is. And it's like, oh, hun, you wouldn't last a second out of this country. Like, it's pretty rough out
Ooh,
there.
oh my gosh. Yes, that is true because, like, aside from her, that wasn't even fat shamed. Again, that was just an adjective, like the fat,
Mhm.
you know, just like a true statement. She is fat, you know? It was like, I just giggled and it caught me off guard because, again, we don't do that here. It's like, that's rude,
Right.
right?
Right.
We say the thick one, and I'm like, okay. But anyway, um, you know, but it's all fun and games till it happens to you. Cause I was living my life in the city the first week and like I wore a fitted shirt, so it kind of like hugged my chest and like my arms and all that. Cause I like to wear baggy stuff usually, but when I wear something fitted, it like hugs me. And I remember getting into the cab, like on the way to the mall, a grab, I think they're called over there. I got a grab and the guy was like, "Oh, he's like, look at you, like fit, handsome, strong, you know." And I was like, "Oh, stop, stop." Uh, but this was like still in the city and stuff. Like we weren't at the islands yet. Where like true fitness was there. All the form. So I was oh yeah, I was it in the city. but but you know, it's just stuff like that, or like I guess sometimes people just kind of look like, oh, because again, they're so like, you know, petite, like not scrawny, they're just smaller framed. And even if maybe they worked out or were athletic, it's like they were still small, you know?
Mhm.
Whereas like I put on some muscle and I'm like, and so they were just kind of like, oh, wow, like that's a big dude. But they weren't really referring to like a big dude as in like that's a fat dude. They're just like, oh, that's a big dude. And like, of course, there are some people built like that, but that's kind of rare. Or at least I didn't see that too much, you know, like more wide set people out there, unless they were not really like, you know, Thai.
Right.
But like I said, it's all fun and games to have your friend called fat till it happens to you.
The tables turned, y'all. So remember what he said earlier. So let's go to the sun tanning moment. This is your metamorphosis. This is the moment where things turned.
My fatamorphosis. Oh my gosh. So like, okay. And first of all, for the record, I didn't have to be one of those YouTubers or those like fit guys that wears like a fat suit. Okay, like
Right.
it was all real. I lived the fat experience without the fat suit. It was all me. So okay, your boy is dumb. So like, I didn't take into account that like the Thai sun hits different, like closer to the equator. None of
Equator.
yeah, I didn't think none of that. I was just like, oh, whatever. Like it's sun. I don't give a fuck. Um, so I bought some Thai like tanning oil that I couldn't understand because it was in Thai,
Oh
and I
no.
was so it's that good. Like it's really gonna work because I don't understand what it says, and the only words that I caught for the ingredients were like coconut and like banana or something, and it smelled really good. I'm sure there's other stuff obviously, but again, I couldn't read it. So,
Frying oil.
oh my gosh,
I'm just kidding.
cooking oil. Who knows at this point? You know, like grease it up. Um, by this point, we're kind of on our first island. We're entering like week 2 of the trip. And oh my gosh, I guess I have to tell the whole truth. So I'm dumb and I burned once, like before this incident.
Are
So
you serious?
I burned once. It wasn't like a bad burn, but I burned and I was like, oh dear. And then I like recovered like for a few days and then I was like, whatever. So I slapped like I was still kind of burnt. Like it wasn't bad, but I was still kind of burnt. So I slathered more of that mysterious oil on myself and everything from the neck down. Everything from the neck down because I was like, oh, like my face, like that's too precious. Like no. Um, so yeah, and I laid out for I think 45 minutes just flipping like a rotisserie chicken, you know, so often to get like the front side, the back side, and I realized I was those two girls from Final Destination where I'm like burning myself alive and about to die, you know, because baby, I was sizzling. And like obviously I had like a shirt and like a hat over my face, and I'm like, oh, it's hot, like
Mm.
out there, and like I'm sweating, and I'm like, oh man, but whatever. And my friends are playing in the pool, and I'm over here on the pool side, like just kind of taking that sun in, like welcoming the cooking session onto my body. Um, and basically, I obviously got very fried, a very bad burn. And I was just like, oh no, like my whole body was burned, everything. And I was just like, oh my God. And at first it was just really uncomfortable. Obviously the usual burn where it's like you put a shirt on, it hurts, and like, you know, that kind of, and then I think it took like a day and a half later, we were switching islands and we had to do a lot. Okay, like we had to get a taxi to take us to the ferry, and then we had to get on a boat to like go to another boat, and then finally that'll take us to the island. So like two boats and a taxi.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that day of travel, I noticed when I woke up, my feet were like, and I was like, I was like, oh my God, what happened? And I was gonna wear shoes, and I couldn't wear shoes because my shoes didn't fit. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, you guys, and like I called all my friends, and they're like, like, oh my God, like what happened to you? And I was like, I don't know, because I've been sunburned before here in California, but I've never swollen from a sunburn.
Mm-hmm.
And like everything was swollen, like my calves, my feet. I had no like bone here in my wrist. It was like my arms, my chest, my stomach, everything was swollen. I like became like, the feeling felt like I puffed up but wasn't casing, because everything still felt tight. So it was so weird, because like when I crouched down it hurt, like kinda, because it felt like somebody was grabbing my thigh and squeezing it for dear life. And I was like, ooh, this is terrible. Like, oh my God, I'm so messed up. And I was like, why did you do this to yourself? But basically I was really, really, really swollen. I had to wear like the tank tops I had to wear like gym shorts. I had to wear sandals,
Oh my God.
because like the clothes that I had that was even fitted, it wouldn't fit on me because I was so swollen.
Oh
So
my God. You were
yeah,
dress size.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was like one of those movies where like, you know, like 13 going on 30 or something, except it was like fit going on fat. Because it happened, like it felt overnight. I woke up and I was like, like, oh my God, everything is so big, you know? And I was big because I was swollen from the sun.
Dang. Yeah, the sun can be killer. My mom had that happen. We went to Hawaii like forever ago, and it happened to my mom. It didn't happen to me, but it does hit different.
Mm.
Lucky for me, when I went to Australia, I went in the winter because I went in July, so I didn't get burned
Yeah,
in Australia. But it's wild there too. You can really get burned compared to like Cali. So apparently Cali's tame, because Hawaii is bad, Australia's bad, and obvious. I kind of knew Thailand would be, because that's like really on the equator.
I didn't even think about it. I was like, anything for so
Yeah.
literally anything for the bronze. But no, and I am dumb. Like I should have known. Uh, I still burn in Cali. I have to burn like twice, and then my skin like will adjust and be like, okay, cool, we're used to it. And I'm like, cool. So I'm like, if I burned in Cali, why did I do that in Thailand? So
And with the oil and everything, it's like,
the mystery oil.
yeah, it's like, whoa. But yeah, okay. So how did you feel when you metamorphosized?
Well, first of all, it sucked because like, oh gosh, like so not only could I like was I restricted on clothes, I obviously, like I said, couldn't wear shoes because my feet didn't fit into them. Like it was very Regina George, like this is all that fits me right now. Between the sweats, the tank tops, and only sandals. And it
Ooh.
walking hurt, because if I walked long distances, my feet would hurt because they were so swollen. My ankles, I couldn't, like, you know when you walk you kind of normally like bend, you know.
Uh-huh.
I was walking like a duck. I had to be like
Oh, no.
I couldn't bend. I was so swollen. And I was like, oh no, why am I so swollen the day we have to like catch 2 boats and move islands and all that? I was like, ah. And this is terrible because I'm over here with the backpack, holding my luggage and walking like a duck. It was a hot mess. It was the worst because, like obviously physically I'm still fine. Like it's not like I was out of breath or anything, but I'm like, oh, my feet hurt. Like, oh, I can't keep walking. Like, oh my God. And then if I drop something, like I said, when I like bent down to get it, it felt like someone was squeezing my thighs and I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
so uncomfortable. Like, what the heck? And I was like, oh my God, is this what being fat is like? Is this what like being was? And I don't remember? Like, oh God, like, am I being haunted by my past? Like, talking much ish. And now, like, it's like, okay, boom, So, karma.
Yeah, karma moment. Mm-hmm.
It was like a struggle in that sense. And like, on top of the burn, obviously, which still really, really hurt, like, because I'm just like, oh, like, so I was constantly hot, overheating. And Thailand is already super hot and like humid.
Yeah.
So pair that with like me already being on fire because of my sunburn and walking like a duck and being tired if I walk too long. So it's like, it was
So you would say to somebody looking at you, they would be like, oh, that's a fat lobster.
honestly, yes, because like, obviously like the friends I was with and I knew like this isn't normal. This is not what I'm normally like. And like, but obviously someone who doesn't know me, they're not gonna know that. I could be one of those bigums that has like a regular face, but then So it's like they wouldn't know that because
Plus, it's not like you turned smo. You kind of like went from like thin to like, was it like chunk or even kind of fat, like flat out, but like low level?
I would say low level fat because like,
Yeah, it sounds, if you couldn't wear your shoes, that's pretty bad.
yeah,
Like,
I was swollen and that's my feet. I
or
told you,
your clothes.
yeah,
Yeah.
obviously I showed you the picture of like my feet and everything, and
It's
that
gonna
was
be in the thumbnail. Yeah, it's wild.
for all you dirty little people who like feet. But
That's not why.
no. But if it is, no,
Oh my god.
um, no, it was terrible because that was just my feet. Like I told you, my torso got swollen too, and
Dang.
everything neck below got swollen because it was all burnt and the sun really messed
Oh
me.
wow. So
You
you
know,
really looked fat.
I did. I did
Dang.
that. And like that's why I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And obviously my friends were kind of like giggling at me because like, oh my God, like you look like a balloon, like you look like a mess. And I was just like, thanks, you guys. Like this is what I wanted. And it was funny, they made fun of me because like they all got kind of sick on the trip. Like something happened to them. And I was over here like, oh my God, I'm next. Like, what's gonna happen to me? What illness am I gonna get? And then I did it to myself basically because I tanned in the sun. So that's why they
I
were
love
laughing.
it. Love
They're like,
that for you.
they're like, nothing happened to you. You happened to you because you're dumb. And I was like, thanks. um, but yeah, no, it was a true fat experience for me because this was like now on the second leg of the trip where I was fat. Week 1 I enjoyed my privilege.
Thin privilege.
Then privilege.
You're so strong. Nice.
You look so strong. Ooh, and then me walking around the city, judging my friends like, if y'all worked out, you wouldn't be this tired. Um, and like that was my, the high point, my peak. And then after because I was like, wow, like the world is making me live my life as a fat person right now because week 2 is when I was really swollen, the end of the trip basically. And it was crazy because they were like buying me ibuprofen so I could like, swell down, reduce the swelling or whatever. And it just wasn't working. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna take these pills anymore because like it's not working and you're just shoving pills down my throat. Like, no, you know? And it was just crazy because like since I had to wear sandals, like first of all, I wasn't wearing pants because it's way too hot for that. But second of all, it's like my calves and my feet just it's like and of the Pillsbury like biscuits and it bust, like that was me. Like that was eggs and everything. It was just the open can of biscuits just when it explodes. Um And it was just hard to walk because we had no choice but to walk. And I'm sure that made it worse, me walking on my swollen feet.
Mhm.
I had no choice. Like, what was I going to do?
And so you're walking off.
Like a
You
duck.
probably look like this too. It's probably
Probably.
like some element. Yeah, so it was totally all there.
No, and like,
Okay.
sure, the people that saw me, the Thai people, are like, wow, what a fat American, because I'm over here sweating, looking miserable, looking like I'm having trouble walking, because I am, but not because I'm fat and out of shape, because I'm swollen from the sun, you know?
And they're also like, look at how burned he is. Oh my gosh, too, probably. Because they probably see that all the time.
Oh, yeah. But like, I don't know if they put two and two together, like, oh, he's that
Well,
big.
yeah. Well,
But
because that's a dramatic burn. I think they probably just thought you were just like, you got burned.
yeah, and like, it was crazy because, like I said, they're probably looking at me like fat American. Like, look at him, probably on his way to eat right now. No, I was like, no, I haven't even eaten junk once. Like, I did twice on the trip, but at that point, I was like, I'm not even eating junk. Like, I'm burnt.
So
uh,
how did the Thai people's perception of you shift? Like, what did you notice right away?
oh gosh, like, oof. I think it was just like, because normally, like, okay, I think one thing I might have caught was like the food vendors would normally target, Esme before me, really try to latch
Stop.
to get her like to buy food or something. And then like when I entered the picture and I was like, no, move out the way, Fat Albert's here. They really were trying to sell me things. Like they were really trying to sell me food. Like they were pushing heavy on me. Like I'm not gonna do it. Like I'm not gonna eat it. Like get out of my face right now. But
Oh my God.
like get out of my face. Like like a fat person. And I was like, no, stop. Like I don't want it.
And you're like, this is different than I was.
Really trying to get me to eat, but that's because they saw me and they're like, oh, he throws it down, which is true. It's not a lie, but that's not why I was fat. It's because I was cursed by like my evil stepmom or something. But yeah, so I noticed that for sure, and I think okay, when it really hit is on the second leg of the trip when we went to an elephant sanctuary. Okay. And oh gosh, it was the worst because again, it's just all this walking, and I'm like, you guys, I'm tired, I'm fat now. Like, hold on, you know, with this freaking duck walking and only being able to wear sandals because sandals are not that comfortable to walk in
Yeah.
time. So it was the double whammy. And when we get to the elephant sanctuary, it was a group of tourists, like pretty decent group. There's probably 30 of us, and on a normal day, I don't care because I'm extroverted. I'll do it, like whatever. But I'm in pain because the sun is really burning. I'm walking around with a big hat and an umbrella and like long sleeves, just anything I can, to avoid the pain or the sun hitting me more. And basically, the lady, one of the tour guides, because there was like three, she was like the main one, I guess. She was trying to show us how to like feed the elephants, and I was sitting kind of like in the front, but like towards the side. Like I wasn't in the middle, like right smack dab in front of her. I was like in the front row, but like on the side, And then she's like, who wants to be my, my volunteer, like my, my blah, blah, blah. Like who wants to demonstrate for me? And then she like scans and she's like, you, me.
And she's like, he's fat.
She's like, come up here. She's like, you're my baby elephant. Like, oh my God, because again, like I'm in pain, I'm uncomfortable, I don't really want to like move around too much. And also I'm so swollen. I go up in a group in front of 30 people.
30 fit people. I'm just kidding.
Sure, I was probably definitely the fattest one there with my swelling, but
I love it.
she's like, come here, baby elephant, and
You duffed me, and then you became the duff. Well, you can't really be the duff because you're extroverted, but still, you became fat.
I was worse than the duff. I was a baby elephant.
You became the baby elephant. That is karma because you duffed me.
Like, grah, for real though. Because yeah, so she's like, come up here, baby elephant. And, again, I'm still extroverted, even though I was like, "Ugh!" And I was like, okay. So I went up, and then she's like, hold your hand like this, like pretend it's like a trunk. Oh my gosh. There we go. Couldn't figure it out. Anyways, she's like, hold it like this. And I was like, okay. And it looks crazy. My arm just looks like a.
I wish somebody filmed this.
Oh god. I think my 3 friends were just too busy laughing at me because they're
Probably, yeah.
and he's baby elephant, like that's too perfect, And so I'm over here having no shape, and then I have no bone or anything, so it's just like a glob of meat, like elephant. And then she's just like, when you're feeding the baby or the elephants, like blah blah blah, like you want to get it like, I think she said like right on the nose, like don't be scared, get it like right there, and then they'll scoop it into their mouth. She's like, you don't want to get it like here or like here, and she's like jiggling me like here or here, like you want it here, and then like, and don't tease the elephant, and she's like, because then they'll go they're up and down, and she's like looks at me like go up and down, and I'm like. and then they'll get frustrated or confused because they can't see because of their eyes or something. So, she's just like, okay, like, blah, blah, blah. And she, like, I'm just up there and I'm like, oh, please send me down, send me away, send me to sit. And then after she was done, like, with her demonstration, she's like, thank you so much, baby elephant. And I was just like, like, you're welcome. And throughout the tour, like, because I was her baby elephant, she'd like talk to me and she'd be like, baby elephant, like, are you having fun? Like, how do you? And I was like, stop calling me that. Like, it's not my name, So, like, my baby elephant, like, whatever, but like, she's trying to be cute with it. And I was like, are you fat shaming me? Like,
you're like, she is. She called me this because I'm fat now.
I'm like, if I wasn't swollen, I wouldn't be baby elephant. So, but she's like I said, like trying to be friendly with me. She's like baby elephant, like blah blah blah. And then like she like towards the 75% portion, she's like, and like we're eating at the end. She's like, are you excited, baby elephant? And I was like, why? Because I'm fat? Like
She asked if you were excited to eat.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that for you.
Gosh, baby elephant. But yeah, and then this part hurts so bad. Oh my god, I like cringe thinking of it. So remember, I'm still really burnt. I'm kind of peeling at this point, and like everything hurts. And we gave the elephants like a mud bath, like a spa thing. So we had mud on ourselves too. And there's a shower area we can go and clean ourselves up. And then there's a water area for the elephants. It looks kind of like a car wash setup the way it's built, and the water just falls down on them. And basically, we went in the water with them, and like we got like these tough bristle brushes, like the ones you scrub a floor with, like you really scrub a floor with, and we used that to scrub the elephants, like the mud off of them. And then, they were trying to be funny or cute with it because once the elephants exited the car wash area, she's like, "Now it's your turn, baby elephant," and she got the bristle brush and started like scrubbing me here, and I'm really badly burnt, and like and I'm just like, how do you not see how red I am? How do you that you're like scraping off my like skin? I was like, you're about to make me bleed right now. And so rubbing me, and then a guy with the hose is like pointing a hose at me. I was just like, oh my god, like I couldn't even react because I think it was just so painful.
Oh my god.
Bristle brush like scrub my
Yeah, that's wild.
So I'm just kind of like, they're like, ha, baby elephant, like hosing me down and scrubbing me, and I'm just like and then
Karma.
And then one of my friends was like, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you like scream or yell stop? And I was like, I don't know. I was in shock that like I'm getting hosed down and a bristle brush on me. Like, sue me for just like freezing me like So yeah.
Oh my gosh. It pays to be a baby elephant. It does.
Oh my god, that hurts so bad. And then finally get to like the shower area and I wash myself and I'm like over here like like in the shower like like, that hurts so bad. I'm getting abused because I'm fat, you know? Like, she's over here literally hosing me down and using the brush that they use on the actual elephants on me. and, and asking me if I'm excited to eat. Like, so I was like, oh my God. And the food area, and like, I didn't want like, I don't like going up first to like fight other people for food because there's enough food for everybody. I was just like, no, I'm gonna wait till it dies down. I don't want to go up right away. And of course, she comes to me and she's just like, baby elephant. She's like, you're not getting any food? She's like, I know you're hungry. And
I love it.
And I was looking at her like, like, yes, I am gonna get food, but I'm waiting for everybody to go down. Like, crowd. And I was like, God. Yeah.
Wow.
That
you were on blast.
She was putting me on blast, and I feel like she was just like, she was like kind of bully that stuck her foot out, and I'd fall, and she'd be like, oh my God, you're so clumsy. Like, here. That kind of bully. Like, let me help you up, baby elephant. Like, So I was like, this bitch. But because she was just on my ass, and I was like, girl, I'm here with friends. I'm not alone. If I was alone, okay, I'd get it. Like, even if it was still fat shaming, I'd be like, I'm alone. I get it. But I'm like, I'm clearly with 3 friends, and you're still coming to me and being like, you're hungry. Let me clean you. Like,
Love it.
Wrong right now. But gosh, that was definitely like big scenario number 1. Literally big scenario,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like that was oof. And then my friends after the whole thing were also like, dang, like baby elephant. I was like, I know. I was like, this is some bull. I was like, I'm in pain. I don't want to be like the center of attention. And she's like, come here, fatty. And I was like, wow. But whatever, it was a good day after that. We went home and I was just eating like a baby elephant, I guess. But then next big thing that happened was when we did an island tour. It was the same island. We did an island tour, and basically I was like, oh crap, like I need to go shopping because like I need a wetsuit, like a surfer type of thing, because I was like, oh no, like I was like, y'all got me messed up. I'm not gonna go on an island tour because that is literally all sun. I was like, and I can't do that. Like, no. I was like, I'll do my own thing. I was like, and they're like, no. Like, we'll get like a water, like a surfer thing. So like long sleeves, pants, everything is covered. You just wear a hat and put sunblock on your hands that stick out and then your feet, And I was like, okay, yeah, I could do that. I was like, that's cool. I'll still swim and like have the protection. But, what in my head, I knew it was protection to protect me from the sun. But people probably like, oh, he's fat and he's embarrassed to take his shirt off. Oh, I'm like, no. Like, I'm so burnt. Like, I can show
here's the real question. Did you even think about sizing beforehand?
Okay. So a little bit, but like not in my new fat life kind of way. It was more like I'm an American kind of way,
Uh-huh.
I did buy a shirt from Thailand and I was a double XL in it, and I was like, oof. I was like, whatever. I was like, whatever. This is expected. I'm American. I'm in Thailand against smaller people. I was like, I'm a 2XL. Whatever.
Like, I'm a 2X.
But,
I'm a 2X too now. Twinsies. Hey.
Wear the shirt together. You want to borrow it?
Totally.
I mean, you could probably borrow my swollen clothes.
Oh my God.
But yeah, no, I expected it to be something like that. It'd be like, oh, okay, I'm not a large. I'm probably a 2X. Like, that's the biggest I thought I'd go. I was like, XL, maybe 2X. I was like, that's it, So that's what I was thinking in my head when, because they had the shops like literally right before the tour thing. And I was looking around, and I was like, oh my God. Because like, it was very poor planning on my part because I thought there'd be more shops, but the shops were literally like shops and then front desk for the tour. Like, it was like, it's like, oh, last minute, I need to find something. And so And you know, I'm looking around, blah blah blah, and then there was a woman like, "Oh, like you looking for something?" And I was like, "Yes." I was like, "I'm looking for like long sleeve and like pants because like I'm so burnt." And I showed her my redness, and I was like, "Look at me," and she's like, "Oh, you know." Whether it was for the burn or how swollen I was, I don't know. But
The
she said,
burn of the body. She still is like, ooh.
I don't know to which one, but ooh, either way. Um, and then she's just like, "Oh, okay, okay." And then she's like, "Well," she like is walking me around. And first of all, I don't even know why she did this because she's just like, "Oh, like you know, I have this, and this, you know, tends to fit like everybody, like blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then she's like, Not you though." Like after looking at me, and I was like, "Bitch, why would you even bring me to the shirt?" I said, "I'm looking for something. You take me to this and say it tends to fit everybody, and then you're like, not you though." And I'm just I'm like, you set me up to bully me. You tripped me and then picked me back up. Like, you know?
I love it.
I was like, okay, whatever. And there was nothing in that shop. So I get to the next shop and there's another lady and she's like, "Oh, what you looking for?" Told her the same thing. And she does have like more options there. And then she gets me some pants and she's like, she's like looking at me and like looking at the pants like, you know. And I was like, okay, okay. And then like she grabs something and then like the shirt, she's like, and she's like assessing me and I'm like, okay. And she grabs something and gives them to me. And you know, she's like, try them on. If they're too like small, is what she said first. Let me know. Or if they're too big, she's like, you come back, let me know. She's like, but go try on. And I was like, okay, okay. And I went to go try them on and they fit. I was like, oh, perfect, you know? And
Perfect.
I was like, what's the sizing though? Because I was curious. Now I'm like, oh, like what am I? And like, let's see. These are my pants. Can the camera see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
These are my pants. Okay. I'm a 10XL in Thailand. So these are my pants. And then this is my shirt. My shirt. Keepstar. Keepstar is. Can we see
Get
that?
a little closer, yeah. 6.
That's my shirt. So baby, I was a 16XL altogether.
I love that the legs were bigger. That's the best.
Always my area. But anyways, I was Squidward. But yeah, so I'm over here like, like, you know, like what? I'm like, I'm a 10XL. I'm like, how is this even possible? I'm like, why do you guys have this size ready on deck too? Like, what?
They
Like,
got
what?
to.
I was like, what the actual hell?
The Americans show up. They're like, get out, break out the 10X.
Oh my gosh. And then it looks crazy. It looked crazy when I was wearing it because like it's a long sleeve, you know? So obviously like my arm and everything is covered up. And the only thing that's sticking out is like this, my hand. And I'm swollen. So it's like a fucking big hand. It's like a fat hand that's just sticking out. It's like, you know? And then same thing with the pants. Like they're obviously pants and they're like covering up my everything. Like my thighs, my calves, everything. The only thing sticking out is my huge swollen feet. So I looked crazy because my big blobby hands are out and then my big puffy feet are out. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I look like such a mess. And I was just like so miserable because I'm just like, I'm like, because again, the face was pretty normal, but then like I have these like sticking out of the feet and hand area. And I was like, oh my God. And there was this really nice guy from the UK and like he was making conversation with me. And I just felt so weird talking because like I just couldn't stop looking at my feet. I was like, I look like a monster, you know, with how fat and swollen they were.
Did he
Because
talk to you because he felt bad for you?
who knows? Okay.
I'm just kidding.
And
I'm going to start feeding you some fat thoughts for you.
I was trying to be cute and like kind of like curl my feet and like, you know, do this. So they're so big. And that didn't work, obviously, because then it's just two really fat feet doing this. Not even like on top of each other, like because I'm swollen. Like I'm trying to be like, yeah, like we're talking. I'm like, like trying to hide my feet. And
What was he? It was just talking about random stuff.
he was just like, oh, like, where are you from? And like, how,
Okay.
like, like what part of California, blah, blah, whatever. Just regular stuff, And
Mhm.
like I said, I just felt so weird. And like, even swimming in the water, I felt weird because like when I was floating, like, um, obviously
Fat floats.
pretty much, and I'm sticking my hands out and my feet. And then like, when I stick my foot out, I just see the blob and I was like, ugh. And I just like put it back in the water. I was like, ew. um, but it was just so crazy to me. And again, like on the island tour, we're walking a lot. So it's like, I still have the issue of my feet hurt. Like my feet are tired. And again, anybody that didn't know me is probably like fat ass. Like, watch where you're going. And I'm just like, no, like it hurts. Like it's just terrible. Like, it was the worst. And by this point of the trip too, my swelling was kind of going down.
Okay.
It was in fluctuation though, because like it would go down because I would sleep with, it was the worst. I had to sleep with my feet like elevated above my heart, to like reduce the swelling. And it worked like in the morning, but then by the end of the day or throughout the day, they'd get just as big because I'm constantly, So it's like I didn't really give it any break because I have to walk everywhere. So I'm just like so much for like returning to semi-normal feet. It's like back to the
Wow.
yeah, and it was just terrible because it's like, oh my gosh, I really am like low key living as a fat person because like I'm tired from walking, I'm over here like getting targeted real hard by the food vendors. I'm over here, everything fits. This fits mostly everybody except you. One size fits all except you. and,
That is so scarring. I think I would die,
and
honestly.
again, the whole baby elephant fiasco. And I was just like, this is too much. I was like, wait, like, I just felt like, I felt like the haunted mask. Like I felt like grabbing a statue of me before I was swollen. Like, me, this is me. Go away. I'm not fat. Like,
Gen Z is like, what? What is he talking about?
they're like,
Just Google it, you guys. The haunted mask goosebumps.
yeah, R.L. Stein, daddy. But
Oh my god.
but yeah, no, it was just awful because like I said, I was like, oh, it's like I'm actually fat. Like I'm tired. Everybody wants to feed me. Everybody wants me to be baby elephant. And I'm just like, oh my god.
It's all fun and games until you're
It's
baby
all,
elephant.
it's all fun and games week 1 when you're the fit one, the muscular one, the ooh, and then you're baby elephant week 2, and all of a sudden you're a 10X in pants and a 6X in shirt. And I'm just like, wow. And it was just a mess because like literally, I'm looking at my feet now and I'm just like, oh, I see the bones. I see, the toes and everything. And during that trip, there was no bones. It was all meat. There was no like structure of toes. It was just sausages. And I was just like, wow, this is life. And my friends, being my wonderful friends, are like, ooh, let's have a photo shoot with you. Like, with your fat, like lower half. And one of them, she was like, ooh, she's like, you're like a chunky white girl named Chelsea living her best life islands. And I was like, stop. I was like, stop forming a scenario with my fat cankles. Like, And
I love it.
it was just a lot. Like I said, I got the full fat experience, the full fat ride for free.
I love that you got to like go on a trip to experience being fat.
And it's all because
Again.
of color. I wanted color and I got fat.
That's what happens. Karma. You talk shit for the hell of it.
I know. Karma is getting scrubbed down at the freaking elephant sanctuary. God.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so did you have to come home before you deswelled?
By the time I came home, I was pretty much like maybe like 60% okay. Like I was still kind of, but like, like there was still some puff. And but for the most part, it wasn't anything crazy. Like no, it wasn't the kind of puff where people would look at me and be like fat ass or like, whoa, It was like normal swelling where it's like, oh, like, did you hurt yourself or did something happen? It was more like but it was just very interesting. And like then the week after I got back home, it was totally back to normal. I'm totally okay. Like my body, my arms, my thighs, everything was okay. And I was just like, wow,
Mhm.
shape again. Like, I was like, this is so cool. Like, dang, like there's a bone there on my knee. So it's
Yeah, well, I hope that you just know that you experienced a tiny fraction of what I did as a smo going to Australia. It was hard.
I don't even want to like go through that again.
It was rough. It was really hard. It was hard physically too. It was tough. And then I remember I bought a jacket and it was a 2X. Girl, an Australian 2X is like an American small. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was wild. No, it's probably like a large in America. So it was like super fat shamey, but I survived. I mean, people there are nice and stuff. Like they're not going to be like, "Watch you're going fat ass," or anything like that. But just some people there didn't like Americans, but it was very rare. That was only in Melbourne for anybody who wants tea. I had somebody that hated Americans there. Sure, Aussies won't be shocked. But anyways, everywhere else people were nice, but it was just like, yeah, the fat shaming of the store for sure. It still hit. It still struck. The 2X was not even close. I still can't wear that jacket. It's been forever. It'll be like almost 10 years and I still could never wear the jacket. So if I can wear it, that'll be a moment. But yeah.
That is a moment. I have never even put on these things after I got back from my trip. My 10X and my 6X. I've never put them on after. Like when I got
I'm sure you're probably horrified forever by them.
I
But
mean,
yeah, I mean, it's hard to travel while fat, but I love that you experienced it. That's everything. That's amazing.
I hate it because not only did I get the social baby elephant, I literally had the physical aspect of being tired because I was so swollen in the feet that again I could only like duck step. And I was like, I'm tired. Like, I'm tired. Like, I'm fat. I'm tired of walking. Like, I need a break. So it's like
Did anybody else treat you different, like any of the other tourists or anything? Like, did you notice anything else, I guess, before we wrap up?
um I mean, like, aside from the like eat, like target him, I think people were also, I don't know if they like felt bad for me or they were just genuinely nice people, but sometimes people would be like extra nice, like nice, you know? And
That
that's
did happen to me too. I'm not gonna lie.
so
It
I'm just like,
did.
are
It
you really
did.
nice because like I'm a tourist and you want my money, or you just this is the culture, you're genuinely nice, or like do you feel bad for me because I'm fat and you're being
Okay, so you're talking about like the Thai people. They were
yeah.
like super nice. Okay, but other tourists, they didn't even bat
Oh,
an eye, I think.
I don't think so because by that point it was like the mixture where like fat people were
Okay,
they
there were
existed.
other fatties around, so you were
It was
safe.
if it was flopped, like if I got big week one, maybe I would have had that more because again, at least in the city part, there wasn't really so many fat people. Like maybe
Mhm,
here and there, but for the most part, them like not really. So maybe if
mhm,
fat on week one, I'd have more of the tourists that were there and be like,
mhm.
you know. But because on week two was more of a mixed bag, more of a mixture, I don't think
So
it was.
it's just your own like you kind of compared yourself to like super fit people, and you're like a baby elephant.
Well, yeah, because again, I was legitimately fat because I got swollen everywhere. So like the my pecs
Because
that
I feel like it's a normal thing to like, especially when you go somewhere tropical, you want to like show your body, you want to like have a moment. So the world, destiny fat shamed you. You got like this weird fat experience where you had to cover up too. It was like nature in and of itself. The will of God was fat shaming you. You had to cover up.
I mean, I did, and there was some times where I still took my shirt off, like at the elephant sanctuary when we got in the mud. It's like, okay, I have to take my shirt off, and like really good photo of me and one of my friends. I looked real good, but that's because it was only from like here up. Kind of like
At least you didn't have the moon too. That would have made it worse.
no, that is true. And I was also
You were still privileged in your fatness.
oh gosh, but with my shirt off and everything, like I said, like my pecs were actually titties and stuff like that. Because again, like I was swollen everywhere, and like people are not gonna know that again, it's just a burn. They're like,
right?
oh,
Nobody's gonna think a burn is that extreme.
yeah, they're gonna be like,
Yeah.
great for taking your shirt off. No, like
You should have done some TikToks out there.
you mean like TikTok's like,
Mhm.
like, stuff like
You should have been like, they're trying to offer me food all the time. Blah blah. But you should.
it's
They
nice
probably would like that though.
oh gosh, I mean, I don't know. It was a wild experience. It was just interesting that it genuinely happened, and I was like, wow, like
Mhm.
life is a fat for a week, and like I feel like the world is trying to humble me, and it didn't. Like now I'm trying to get abs, so like
I know, that's true.
it,
That's true, you are. You are. We'll have to do a video about that at some point too, because I can't really speak as much about like being from a fit place, but we'll do that later, especially since you're loved here.
oh
But
man,
thank you so much for sharing. I don't go out or do anything, so I have to leech off of everyone else. So I appreciate that you go out and do things so that I can have a tea time without having any tea.
well, even if they're not pretty, even if it's a baby elephant, I got you.
Thank you so much. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Leave your comments below. And yeah, I'll probably film with Eric again, but I appreciate you guys asking for him. That was funny. But have a good rest of your day, night, whatever, you guys. And I'll see you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.